We've chose a few pieces of Duncan's work within the Charleston Trust for my collection.
This house is called Charleston. From 1916, it became the home of the Bloomsbury group artists Vanessa Bell and Duncan Grant. All the way through the sort of 60 years that they were living there, they were always decorating parts. They very much took control of their own environment and made it their own. What kind of unified them was this quest for some kind of truth and freedom. Charleston was really the only property they had with a garden of its own, so it was a very important space. They would choose the flowers that existed that they wanted to see in the garden, the ones that they wanted to include in their work, in their still lives and in their decorations. Their friend Roger Fry, he laid out the garden, and you can see in the house a lot of the motifs come from the garden onto the walls, onto the furniture. Some of Vanessa Bell's letters, she describes one season where the garden is all red. We have some really lovely examples of Duncan Grant's work, and you can see how his style developed over the first sort of the 1910s and the 1920s. We've got a blanket box that he painted. On the front, there's the figure of a swimmer with these wonderful green, and underneath the lid is a painting of Leda and the duck rather than Leda and the swan. Kim Jones knows this area very well. He grew up near here, and he had visited Charleston when he was a teenager. I think fell in love with it at a very early age. It's obviously a passion that has stayed with him and has grown in him since then. His creativity sort of is sparking from their creativity, and how there's this wonderful symbiosis between the two.
There's a print which comes from a lily pond screen that they have in Charleston Farmhouse. They have the desk. And then we looked at the idea of silhouette and the way he painted. It's kind of like the things that draw together that give it that certain feel to Dior, I guess. Charleston for me is a place I've loved and known since I was about 14. And I probably discovered both Christian Dior and Duncan Grant's work at the same time, to be honest. It's been with me through my life, and it's weird how both these men have been sort of in the background of my life and now in the foreground of my life.